Hello and welcome to the Profitable Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Rich, and as the founder of the Bold Life Movement and a fellow coach for more than 7 years, I know the challenges that many of you face when launching or growing your coaching business. And I'm here to pull back the curtain on the coaching industry and help you overcome roadblocks to make the impact you were born to make. Each week, I'll be interviewing successful coaches from every corner of the industry to share exactly how they have managed to generate massive impact and income. From strategy to psychology, we cover it all. This show is presented to you by Transformation Academy, a global marketplace of courses and coaching certifications. So whether you are already part of our epic community or you're brand new to this show, if you're ready to learn what it takes to turn your passion for service into a profitable business, then keep listening. You are in the right place. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Profitable Coach Podcast. This is Kimberly Rich. I'm your host, and today we're going to be doing another solo episode. I want to talk about how to differentiate yourself as a coach in a sea of coaches and to create your 1,000 true fans. And I thought this would be a really important topic for today's episode because it's this central theme that I see coming up in so many different coaching conversations that I'm having both one-on-one with aspiring coaches and inside of our group programs at Transformation Academy. So I thought it would be really valuable to talk about 7 ways that you can differentiate yourself to stand out and to create those 1,000 true fans. Now, if you're not familiar with this concept, the 1,000 raving fans or true fans is based off of business author Kevin Kelly's essay titled 1,000 True Fans. And in this concept, he talks about the fact that a creative professional, an artist, an entrepreneur, a coach, you don't necessarily need to have millions of customers or millions of followers to sustain a successful career or business. Instead, you can really thrive just by cultivating a relatively small but dedicated, passionate fan base. And so here's the premise of that. When you have a true fan, these are not individuals that are casual followers. They are not like one-off customers. They are passionate, dedicated, committed supporters of your work and of your services. They love what you do. They buy your products pretty consistently, and they actively promote it to their communities. Now, the number 1,000 comes from the fact that Kevin Kelly says that you can sustain a livelihood with somewhere around 1,000 true fans. It's not an exact science, right? But this number, when consciously cultivated, can really set you up for success. And you don't need this tens of thousands of followers that we see people garnering on different social media platforms and touting as a barometer for success. Sure, that's amazing if you can reach that many people, but it's actually not necessary. So I want to talk today about 7 ways that you can start to differentiate yourself. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of an action plan at the end. And if you like this episode, please, I encourage you, go ahead and leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram, follow Transformation Academy online on Instagram. That way you don't miss a beat, right? You can stay up to date with all of the different episodes. And if you're not already following me, please do. It's the Kimberly Rich. I love hearing from you. Getting DMs from listeners is so meaningful to me. So I love hearing what you've taken away from the episodes and what you guys want to hear more of. All right, let's dive in. There are so many different ways that you can start to differentiate yourself. Ultimately, what you want to do is lean into what makes you you. And the reason this is really important is because it allows you to coach people on some of the same things that you see other coaches coaching on. But because people have built so much trust in you, because they know that your flavor is different, then they're going to keep coming back to you over and over. Here are a couple quick examples, and we'll really dive into this throughout the episode. But, if you're super religious, lean into that. If you're super edgy, lean into that. If you're someone who just loves DIY projects, share that with your audience. Find a way to draw a parallel between your DIY crafts and helping people to DIY their life. Helping people to become sovereign creators of their own reality. And you'll see that like your ability to meld those two seemingly disparate things will improve and will evolve over time. But the sheer fact that you're just like sharing your life on your different platforms, letting people know, hey, I love DIY projects, that's going to help them know, like, and trust you. And on today's episode, the overarching goal with the following 7 differentiation tactics that you can use is 1, get people to know, like, and trust you. No one else, no version of you that's mimicking someone else, you, just as you are. Number 2 is to show the value of your work. And then number 3, and this is just as important, is to make having a coaching business fun for you. So you want to get people to know, like, and trust you. You want to show why what you do is valuable, and you want to have a lot of fun in the process. And the only way to really do that is to lean into what makes you uniquely you. So let's dive in. Number 1, in terms of how you can differentiate yourself in the coaching market, is to come up with a unique methodology or framework. By doing this, you're going to set yourself apart from other people who are helping their clients to achieve really similar results. Because if you have a quotable, tweetable, memorable framework, then it's going to be really easy for someone to remember it when they're talking to their friends about how you've impacted their life, to remember it when they're really in need of whatever the tool, concept, framework, or idea is that you have shared with them, whether that was in a session or on social media. And I want to share with you 2 quick examples of this. Shoshana Raven was a guest that we had a few weeks back. Highly recommend checking out her interview. It's super unique in the way that Shoshana has found herself in the coaching industry, like what her particular story was that led her to be the shame slayer, that led her to create Living Brave. That is uniquely Shoshana. And I'll bring up that example again. I think it's going to be number 7. So stay tuned for number 7. But one of the things that Shoshana does really well in terms of her unique coaching methodology is she has something called the chill rocket ship. It's literally just this concept of leaning into how to make things as easy as possible. Overwhelm is not something that Shoshana subscribes to, and it's something that she helps her clients not subscribe to. Everything that she does in her business, she looks through the filter of, how can I make this as easy as possible? How can I stay on the chill rocket ship where my success is inevitable? I'm skyrocketing from where I want to be to from where I am to where I want to be, and I'm keeping my chill the whole time. And so now, because I know that this is something that Shoshana teaches and subscribes to, every time I see a rocket ship, I think of Shoshana. Her fiance is a really good friend of mine, and I saw a really cool steampunk rocket ship thing on like some Instagram ad or Facebook Marketplace or something. And I screenshotted it and I sent it to him and I was like, you have to buy this for Shoshana. I was like, this steampunk rocket ship light, I think it was like a lamp. I was like, she's going to love that. And it's part of her brand. But I know that because she found a way to encapsulate what it is that she believes in into a pithy, memorable tool that her clients can use and remember her by. So that's one example. Another, and we just talked about this inside the Coaching Confidence Accelerator, is Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. It's so simple, you guys. How simple is the 5-second rule? It's literally, she needed a tool to get her butt out of bed when she was playing the snooze game with her alarm. And so she invented the 5-second rule. I'm willing to bet Mel Robbins is not the only person in the world who has invented this 5-second rule. But guess what? She's the one who ran with it. She's the one who wrote a book about it. She's the one who did a TED Talk about it. And now she's the one who is known for it all over the world. Mel Robbins has millions of readers, followers, customers, etc. because she took a very simple concept and she started to share it. So you can come up with something like that, which has been really useful in your life, and start to share it with your audience. Start literally pretend as though it is the first time people are hearing this thing every time you talk about it, because A, It might be. And B, people need to hear things over and over and over and over again for them to stick. So even if it's as simple as the 5-second rule, the first time someone learns it, it might not land. So they need to hear it over and over again. And I encourage you, come up with whatever is your unique methodology or framework and start sharing it. Number 2, personal branding. So this is where you get to have a lot of fun. If you have different aspects of your personality, of your lifestyle, of your interests and your hobbies that are things that are pretty consistent, your friends and family know you for them, put them in your brand, put them in your personal coaching brand so that you can attract clients who are also into those things. It's going to help them resonate with you quicker than if you never shared any part of your personality. And here are some examples. I see all of these working in a myriad of ways. One is luxury. A lot of successful coaches advertise that they've been able to create a luxurious lifestyle for themselves by mastering certain mindset techniques, manifestation, money practices, business concepts, whatever it is. But they're infusing luxury into whatever they teach or coach on. And so they might host retreats that are rich with opulence. They might show different expensive handbags or cars or watches into their branding, knowing that this is something that they have called into and created for themselves, and they want to draw in individuals who also desire that level of wealth. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't care about luxury, great. Guess what? There are plenty of people who also don't care about luxury, and yet the luxury coaches are doing very, very well. And what does this show you? It shows you that it doesn't matter what your thing is, because there's going to be someone who likes your thing, and there's going to be people who don't like your thing because they like someone else's thing. So find out whatever your thing is and infuse your branding with that. Here are some other examples. Travel. A lot of people are starting to infuse the nomadic lifestyle or the luxury travel lifestyle. These are two different flavors. Maybe you're someone who has done van life a lot, or you built out your own camper van and you've spent some time living in the van, living off grid. And so you might appeal to a very different subset of clients. You might appeal to those individuals who are like, wow, I really want to be able to work from anywhere. I really want to wake up in a national park. I want to work with a coach who gets that about me, who understands my values. Whereas on a different end of the travel spectrum, you might be someone who loves luxury travel. And so your course programs are things where you infuse words relevant to luxury travel into your programs. So you might have something that's first class, or maybe a membership community you call the lounge, and you give people lounge access. It's kind of fun. You get to play with this. It's whatever you want it to be. It's your brand. Another example that I thought of was if you're like a big foodie, okay? You might infuse your marketing copy with foodie words, and you may have your coaching program that is the prefix menu, where you lay out all the different things that they get in the 12 weeks that they work with you. Or you may give them the option to purchase some different services or courses as a la carte. Maybe you offer them a higher end program that is a Michelin star program where they get a VIP day with you. Maybe you go to a Michelin star restaurant to have your 2-hour meeting or brainstorm or whatever. This is so fun, right? Like, imagine if you're a foodie, you're like, I'm going to freaking do that, Kim. That's so fun. Another example that I thought of was this podcaster, Katie DeLabeau. She's a writer, artist, podcaster. I've been following her for a long time. When I first found her website back in 2016, I think it was, her About page showed the timeline of her life after discovering that journaling was something that she was really passionate about, to connecting with Gabby Bernstein, who was one of her mentors, to writing her book, Let It Out, to getting the deal with Hay House. And she shows this visual representation of this timeline of these milestones on her about page. And the way it was portrayed was using watercolor. And as a watercolor artist, I loved this. It drew me in. I was like, wow, I want to create something like that for my site. I want to chat with this person. And it really just helped me to know, like, and trust her even more. Another example. In my college days, like way back before I had ever blogged or podcasted or coached or anything like that, my girlfriend and I used to always have this saying, bold move. Anytime someone did something that was like a little audacious, we would look at each other and be like, oh, bold move. It was like this inside joke between us. But now, years later, I've created the Bold Life movement, and bold move is something that I use all the time in a very different way. It's a term that encourages my listeners, my clients, whoever, to go out and do something kind of bold and be able to like hashtag it, bold move. Like, I just did something brave. I just did something authentic. I just did something that changed my life. And I loved remembering back to my college days and realizing this has kind of always been a part of my personality. And now I get to use it in my brand. How cool is that? So that's number 2, personal branding. We have got your unique coaching methodology. We've got personal branding. And now with number 3, client testimonials and case studies. Now, this is pretty straightforward, you guys. One of the ways that you can really differentiate yourself from the market is to let your clients speak for you. Let your clients share exactly how you have impacted their life, what the value add has been, and let them do it in their own words, because no one else, no copywriter, no other coach is going to be able to say about their business what your clients are able to say about you, because they can use their unique experience with you to talk about what it is that you do and the value that you provide. So I encourage you to go and get those testimonials as soon as possible. Number 4, content marketing. Now, what this means is that you can actually create a consistent posting schedule around a certain topic or with a certain cadence that can differentiate you from other coaches. One of the examples that I thought of was an astrological tarot card reader that I follow named Chris Corsini. Now, Chris posts consistently with like the changing of the moon every month. He'll do a different reading for all the astrological signs. When there is an eclipse or a full moon or Mercury retrograde, you're seeing the cadence that he chooses based on what's going on in the cosmos. He'll do a reading. And what makes Chris really unique is that he uses ASL in his videos. Now, it's not a means for people to learn ASL. In fact, he's pretty adamant that you shouldn't use his videos to learn ASL because there is adaptations that he's making. But someone who's fluent in ASL, someone who is hard of hearing, someone who loves watching ASL videos, they're going to migrate to his content, right? So if you're a coach that has a unique skill, maybe it's a particular language, maybe it is a particular flavor like this that most other coaches don't have, put it in your content marketing and make it your thing. Make it your shtick. Make it something that you share on a consistent basis, and then start doing that, because you will start to build momentum in a way that you wouldn't otherwise. And you can really capture new audiences in a way that you wouldn't otherwise if you developed some form of unique content marketing perspective. So that is one of the key features, that it needs to be unique. Don't just share the same stuff that everyone else is sharing. All right, number 5, collaborations and partnerships. If you know that you are incredible at creating relationships, leverage these partnerships. So many people become really successful podcasters and then successful coaches because they have a large audience, because they're willing to go out, make connections, and then invite in conversations that wouldn't have otherwise happened. And another reason that this is really valuable and can differentiate you is because if you're willing to create a holistic offering for your clients, meaning you're willing to recognize other practitioners, other coaches, other trainers who offer something that you don't, then you are now differentiating yourself as being a one-stop shop for all the things that that person, that your client, your ideal client would want to learn under one roof. You're going out and you're finding the other experts that they could benefit from, and you're bringing them in under your brand. So the more that you can leverage collaborations and partnerships, not just to grow your audience, but also as a value add for your current clients, the better. This is something that Transformation Academy has mastered. If you look at any of the big players in the coaching industry, you'll see they are constantly promoting other people's work, and they're constantly getting other people to promote their work. JVs, collaborations, partnerships are one of the biggest ways to add value and to increase your reach. So I highly, highly recommend this. Number 6, unique pricing. Yeah, I'm going to say that again. Number 6 is unique pricing. And you might be like, Kim, what does that even mean? Well, guess what? It's your business. You get to decide how you price your offerings. Now, what this could look like is flexible pricing. Maybe you let people pay what you want. Maybe you have different tiers and you let people choose. Hey, I'm in a pretty low income situation right now. I can only spend $22 per session. And then you have clients who are spending $111 per session because they know that that is what they deem the value of your session. Another way to look at this is to price your offerings based on the value. And I would highly recommend you go check out the Kevin Dabrowski episode, which I think is episode 9. You would go to theprofitablecoach.com/009. And Kevin is a pretty controversial pricing expert in the coaching industry, but I think that you can learn a lot. Even if you disagree, you can learn a lot from hearing his perspective on why coaches need to be pricing not just quote unquote higher, but more accurately, because that's actually the most respectful and appropriate thing for both you and your client. So figure out what pricing actually sets you apart from the market. There are so many situations where individuals will go price hunting for something, right? They're getting quotes and they don't end up picking the lowest. They don't even end up picking the middle, which you might think, right? You hear the lowest price, you hear the highest price, and you're like, okay, well, I want something in the middle. It's valuable, but it's not absurd. No, a lot of people will end up buying the most expensive. Why is that? It's because they want the best, because they know, hey, if it's the most expensive, it's probably the best. And so don't be afraid to be the best, to be the highest priced coach in your particular niche, because a lot of people are going to see that and say, hey, I know that person adds value. I know they're going to hold me accountable, and I want to be the best client who works with the best coach. So that's another example. Maybe, now this is really edgy, you guys, maybe you run a barter only model. That's pretty crazy. I don't actually know anyone who's doing it, but I thought about it when I was creating notes for this episode, and I was like, wow, what would that even look like? What if you're the kind of coach who works with individuals who have services or products that you desire, and your whole business model is based off of barter only, because maybe you really, really believe in this concept of we all scratch each other's back. Like it's an ethos that you have as a person. And so you're infusing your business with that ethos. And as such, your website is covered, your hosting is covered, your photographs are covered, because you're working with developers, photographers, other entrepreneurs who have products and services that you need. Maybe you have free flowers for the rest of the year because you work with a brilliant florist and you're helping that florist in his or her relationship. I don't know what your particular coaching topic is, but this could be a really cool way to get your business sustained, right? And never have to worry about it. Obviously, if you have bills to pay and you want this to be the income that does that, then this won't necessarily work, but it's something to think about, right? Like the point that I'm trying to make here is you get to decide. This is your business. Another idea that I had is maybe you operate on a membership only model. You tell people, great, my coaching is $1,000 a month. That earns you up to 4 calls per month. You schedule the calls. Otherwise, you are charged $1,000 on an ongoing basis until you cancel. It's like a gym membership. I know someone who does this actually he basically pulled his SaaS company model into his coaching business, and it's been really successful for him. Take it or leave it. Every single one of these pricing models has pros and it has cons, but the point is that you get to decide. So number 6, unique pricing can really differentiate you. Last but not least, number 7, in how you can differentiate yourself in a sea of coaches, is that your mess is your message. Maybe you've heard that before. Your mess is your message. And what that means here is that whatever you've been through in the past, honestly, the thing that you're probably scared to share the most, that could be the thing that calls in all of the clients that you've been praying and dreaming about. Why is that? Because what's personal is universal, and there might be 1,000 true fans just waiting to hear that you get them. You get to connect with people over where you've been, and no one else can really share that the way that you can. So when you share vulnerably and you let your past pain be what creates your current credibility, you get to call in all the individuals who wouldn't have otherwise been magnetized to you because you weren't authentic. You weren't sharing the one thing they needed to hear from you. So if you can lean into what are the things that you've been able to overcome, what are the things that have made you the man or woman that you are today, I guarantee that will move the needle in a way that you couldn't foresee right now. So real quick, I'm going to recap what those 7 things were. Number 1, coming up with a unique coaching methodology. Number 2, making your personal brand personal to you. Number 3, getting client testimonials and case studies that just speak for themselves. They do the marketing for you. They do the work for you. Number 4, coming up with a really creative, unique content marketing plan. Number 5, collaborations and partnerships, really leveraging the ability to bring in other experts to escalate your brand. And then number 6, unique pricing, really creating whatever model you want for your business. And lastly, number 7, your mess is your message. Letting your past pain be the thing that calls in those clients that need your particular experience and expertise the most. Now, I want to leave you guys with a few action steps that you can take right now to go implement any of these 7 things. Number 1, go get testimonials. Even if you've only coached people for free or you've only helped your friends and family, then they still have something positive to say about you. And if they don't, then I would encourage you to work on your coaching skills as a coach. Like I said earlier, we have the Coaching Confidence Accelerator going on right now, where we're helping people to really cultivate the necessary confidence to put themselves out there as a coach, but then also to put themselves in the container of coaching and really feel like they can create transformation for someone. So if you are someone who doesn't yet feel like you can get a testimonial because you don't know how to create actual shifts in a coaching session, then I encourage you to get on our list and pay attention for when we are launching the next version of the Coaching Confidence Accelerator. I'm already hearing from people how much value they're getting being in their mastermind accountability pods and getting to practice coaching in real time. That's the thing that sets you apart. So that would be action step number 2. Go practice coaching and start to figure out what is your unique model? What is your unique framework that you can come up with? And if you're not sure, this is, part B of number 2 is go ask your friends and family. Go survey the people who know you best and say, what is it that makes me unique? What is it that you guys come to me for and you think I'm uniquely good at or have a sense about that other people just don't? So survey your friends and family, get the testimonials from past clients, start to use social proof to help you realize what it is that makes you special. Number 3, write out your life story. Note all of the big milestones. Just like Katie Dalebo, when I mentioned her earlier, had that timeline, that visual representation on her website. It helped me to understand what her journey has been. It helped me to see that she's accomplished things that I want to accomplish and how she went about doing that. And because she used the watercolor, it really helped me connect to her on a personal basis. So write out your life story. Note the big milestones. Note the things that are relevant to your growth and to your current expertise. And then start to figure out how to tell those stories of those milestones in a way that is really juicy, in a way that is really fun, and in a way that lets people connect to you on a deeper level. Number 4, create a future vision. This is where you get to really daydream and reflect on what it is that you want to be known for in the coaching industry. If you future pace yourself 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line, like what is the legacy that you have left? What are the images and the feelings that stand out to you in your mind? Have you written a book? Are you speaking on stages? One really fun example that I remember is really wanting to perform. I want to infuse performance into my coaching experience somehow. And then I looked at Marie Forleo and I saw this woman performed, like literally danced hip hop on stage at her book launch when she came out with Everything is Figure Outable. And I was like, that is what I'm talking about. Marie Forleo is a beautiful example of infusing your personality into your personal brand and just making it fun. So come up with what your future vision looks like and make a note. What are the things that you're doing? What are the images that you're seeing? And how does it feel? Number 5, brain dump the things that you like. If you're having a hard time with number 4, then take a step back and just brain dump the things that you like to do. What are your hobbies? What are the things that you spend your time doing on a regular basis? And how can you infuse those into your coaching business? One great example is gifts. If you love giving gifts, you love receiving gifts, do that in your coaching business. Anytime someone signs up with you as a one-on-one client, send them a journal, send them a gift basket, send them a branded mug that they can drink their coffee out of and remember, like, they're a badass. They signed up with you. Maybe it says Bold Move Monday on it if it was for my clients. Whatever is something that is unique to your personality that you can, create an experience for your coaching clients. Another example could be if you like really good food, inviting people to have one-on-one VIP sessions at nice restaurants. If you really like tangible books, send them a journal, send them a workbook when they sign up for you. All these different things can be really simply executed when we just take the 5 to 10 minutes to look into it. So start thinking about, what does this look like for you? What are the things that you really like? And then the last one, this is a bonus. I think one of the funnest things that you can do is create a manifesto. Go Google Holstein Manifesto if you don't know what I'm talking about, but this is an opportunity for you to identify, what are my values? What are the things I stand for? What are the things I believe in? And then put them into a graphic. Now with AI, this is easier than ever, but you can create a graphic really quick that shows all the different things that you stand for. If you go to the show notes for today's episode, theprofitablecoach.com/015 for episode 15, there'll be a copy of my Bold Life Manifesto on the show notes page. And I encourage you to check that out, use it as an example. And then if you want to see the video manifesto that I made a few years back, then check out my Instagram profile at the Kimberly Rich on Instagram. And you'll see there in my profile, there's a link that you can click to watch the Bold Life Manifesto. I thought creating this thing was like one of the funnest ways for me to connect with my brand and ways for me to connect with the individuals that I want to work with. The rebels, the adventurers, the people who just want to do things differently and want to step up and live bravely and boldly. This was my gift to them. This was my gift to myself to say, hey, you're welcome here. You've got a tribe here. You've got a community here. I get you. So I encourage you, create a manifesto of your own. I promise you're going to have a lot of fun in the process. If you do, please DM me on Instagram and send it to me. Send it to the Transformation Academy team at contact@transformationacademy.com. Subject line, episode 15, manifesto. We would love to see it. So I hope today's episode was useful for you guys. I'm so grateful for all the people that have been listening to the show. We have well over 7,000 downloads at this point. We've only been here for 15 episodes. So that's really incredible. It shows that you guys are getting value, and I'm just so grateful to keep connecting with you. So I will see you in next week's episode. Looking forward to another beautiful interview. Again, you can find the show notes at theprofitablecoach.com/015. Take care of yourselves and be well.